Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will talk about the pruning of clematis. The three major categories of clematis, A, B, and C, are mainly divided according to flowering habits and pruning methods. Class A clematis usually blooms on old branches, and the flower buds are formed on old branches from the previous year. Therefore, when pruning, the old branches should be retained, and only dead branches and diseased branches should be cut off. Class B clematis can bloom on old branches in spring and on new branches in summer and autumn. It is suitable for light pruning or moderate pruning. Class C clematis only blooms on new branches of the year, so it is recommended to perform strong pruning in late winter or early spring, cutting to about 30 to 50 centimeters from the ground to promote vigorous growth of new branches and flowering in summer and autumn. The best time to prune clematis depends on the category. The best time to prune Class A clematis is after flowering, that is, in late spring or early summer, because their flower buds are on old branches from the previous year. If you prune in winter or early spring, you may mistakenly prune branches with flower buds, affecting spring flowering. It is best to prune lightly after the flowers have faded, remove dead branches and shape the plant. Class B clematis can be lightly pruned in early spring to remove dead branches and weak branches. At the same time, pruning should be done after flowering for the first time to promote this type of clematis to bloom on both old branches and new branches. Therefore, some old branches need to be retained when pruning. The best time to prune Class C clematis is in late winter or early spring. It is recommended to prune hard, cutting the branches to 30 to 50 centimeters above the ground, leaving only 1 to 2 buds to promote the growth of new branches for summer and autumn flowering. If you miss the early spring pruning, you can also prune after budding in spring to ensure summer flowering. I live in the eastern US in hardiness zone 7, and most of the clematis I grow in my garden are Class B, with a few Class Cs, but no Class A, since the classification of clematis is not so absolute, and some varieties can be maintained as either Class B or Class C, in order to avoid too much entanglement and trouble with the types. My pruning habit is to prune all clematis in early spring after they have sprouted. This way, you can clearly see which branches are still healthy and which branches have died, and you won't accidentally cut off branches that may bloom. In addition, pruning after the temperature stabilizes in spring can also avoid damage to new buds caused by low temperatures. The temperature fluctuates greatly in early spring, and if you prune too early, it will stimulate the germination of the plant, and the new buds are likely to be damaged by frost. Waiting until the climate stabilizes and the plants sprout before pruning can reduce this risk and make the new branches healthier and more vigorous. When pruning, you only need to start from the top of the old branch and observe along the branch downward to find the first bud position, and cut off all the withered parts above this bud point. After pruning, observe the length of the remaining branches. If the branches are relatively long, we need to roughly judge the type of clematis. If there are many buds on the old branches and the new buds at the bottom are not vigorous, it may be Class B. If last year's old branches have almost no obvious buds and the new buds at the bottom are vigorous, it is more likely to be Class C. If it is determined to be Class C clematis and the length of the old branches left is too long, we only keep about 50 centimeters of old branches, and continue to cut off the rest of the excess. After pruning, tie and fix the branches evenly, so that the clematis can not only climb and grow better, but also increase the amount of flowering and the overall ornamental effect. It is particularly important to note that it is not recommended to water a lot immediately on the day of pruning the clematis, so as to avoid excessive water absorption of the cut end causing rot or disease. Observe the dryness and wetness of the soil 3 days after pruning. If the surface 2 to 3 centimeters is dry, Water it appropriately to avoid water accumulation. After 1 week, enter the normal watering cycle, keep the soil moist but not too wet, and promote the germination of new buds. It is usually necessary to wait 1 to 2 weeks after pruning clematis before starting to fertilize, so that the plant has enough time to recover. Avoid damage to the cut or excessive nutrient pressure on the plant due to premature fertilization. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope this video will be helpful and inspiring to those who have trouble pruning clematis. If you like my video, please subscribe, like, comment and forward it. See you next time.